Josh Cohen, Junkluggers and Luggers Moving. What's up, my man?
How are you doing? Good to see you.
Coffee with CraigO. We don't yet have the coffee, but it's coming shortly.
Yes.
Tell me, how long ago did you start Junkluggers?
I started Junkluggers 12 years ago while I was in college at UConn. I was a junior heading into my senior year and I needed some extra cash.
Did you know, when you look back to this very present moment and you go, within this time span of 12 years, could you have imagined what would happen in 12 years?
Honestly, yes and no. I thought we would have moved a little bit faster in some ways, and in some ways my expectations were blown out of the water.
And I think every entrepreneur has a vision. You had this vision. You didn't know exactly, and I think you, to your point, you were like, some things are going to go great, some things I was expecting to go great and didn't. It's kind of maybe, I said in a past interview that I did with Adam DeYoung of DeYoung Media, I said, it's like taking spaghetti, throwing it on the wall and saying, will it stick? Mm-hmm. And I use that as a reference to social media. It's sort of the same when you're an entrepreneur starting your own business. Mm-hmm. Now, where did you first start Junkluggers?
I started it out of my parents' house, like a lot of entrepreneurs.
Whoa.
You know, I used the basement to store equipment, and I was typing emails from my parents' computer in the downstairs bedroom.
So you started in Trumbull, and then where did you eventually move to once you gained some momentum?
So our first office was in Fairfield. It was a beach house on Reef Road. I was getting sick of being in my parents' house all the time, and I realized that it was a busy enough road where if I parked our 1987 Ford F-350 with bright green signage on it, I would get enough business to pay for the lease for the summer at the beach house. So it was kind of a win-win.
So the trade-off, it was kind of like, I'm going to have a little bit of fun, but I'm also going to be able to pay to afford this fun.
Well, what I did was the truck was hand-painted. I hand-painted it. I would park it right on the end of the driveway where a lot of traffic was coming up and down the road.
About 2 years ago, you reached out to me and you knew that I was making the transition out of the moving company and starting a move management resource center. And my goal was just to help people in that transition point, because as a realtor, I want to work with renters who eventually become buyers. And in that, you were asking, to work alongside of me just to get some information along the way to help you build Luggers now. And so that's the sister company of Junkluggers. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
We get a lot of calls from customers saying, do you also provide moving services? And it's right in our wheelhouse. I met you and we had been thinking about starting this moving business for a while, and you were a great guy. I liked you.
Thanks.
Most of the time.
Sometimes.
But you were a great resource to us in helping us train our guys and figure out what we needed to do to start this business. And of course we've been working together for a while now, helping you to service your customers as you've made your transition in life, which is awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
Super impressive. I tell a lot of people about it, about how you made that change, you made a decision and went with it.
Well, and if there was something that I could give to any entrepreneur or someone who's in business, whether they work for a corporation, is our calendars are everything. And so if I schedule a time, you get reminded of that time, you accept the invite, but more so, along the way, there might be some ideas in the days leading up to our meeting that I might just update the calendar and you'll say, hey, that's a new thought or a new idea that Craig wanted to talk about. And then, ultimately, I think, again, it's the power of leverage, in which is, I think, been your greatest strength in your building, at least looking on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm. What I've found as the business continued to grow, and since the beginning, it's been so demanding. I'm being pulled in 18 different directions, which I love, and it's fun, but it's also crazy and hectic, was the idea that people shouldn't need to try to ask you a question as you're running to the bathroom, right? You don't want to be asked a question while you're running to the bathroom, and they don't want to bother you while you're running to the bathroom.
I want my bathroom break.
That's
all I
break.
want.
That's exactly
Just give me
it.
2 minutes in the bathroom, I'll do what I need to do, and then I'm out and you can bother me at that point.
But like knowing, and what we try to do is have meetings at the same time, same place, same day, every single week for consistency. And throughout the week, as you're thinking of things, as long as they're not urgent, you write them down. You build an agenda throughout the week of things you want to discuss, and then you and the person that you're working with know you have a dedicated time to sit down, discuss, and work through those issues.
And you also have, if I'm correct, the 4-in-1 service provide, which is the packing, moving, unpacking, and then removal of what people no longer want. Tell me a little bit about that process, that if you're a client and you're going through the step of contacting Junkluggers and Luggers Moving, how does that all work concerning the call center and the process online?
We like to make it easier for people to book an appointment or get more information about us. I think that there's too many businesses out there that make it too difficult to do business with them. So what we try to do is provide the opportunity to get information and schedule an appointment online at any time, 24/7, but we also provide a call center that's open 7 days a week.
Now tell me about the green guarantee. I think that's something that's pretty unique, and companies that I think any company, any organization should have a guarantee of some sort for customer satisfaction. Tell me a little bit more about the green guarantee and what it means to you guys.
What are the things that we think are most important to our clients and the things that are also most important to us, so we can create the best experience for our customers and make them feel good about working with us? So we spent a lot of time coming up with what turned out to be 4 very basic green guarantees. These 4 topics, which are providing donation receipts within 14 days, a huge and very important part of our business and for our customers. Always showing up on time, and if we don't, you get a discount. It's automatic. Price assurance. We're not the kind of guys who are going to quote you one price, do the job, and then say, hey, oh, by the way, Mrs. Smith, it's actually going to be more than that. It's the opposite. We want to guarantee people, when they're working with us, they know we're giving you a price, it's not going to go above that, but it can go below that. And lastly, 100% customer satisfaction. We didn't make that up, but we strive for it. We ask every one of our customers at the end of the job, were you 100% satisfied? I'm going to turn the tables on you a little bit.
All right.
Why did you start Coffee with CraigO?
The biggest reason that I started Coffee with CraigO is that I wanted to talk to business owners and entrepreneurs to get into the mindset and to share great video content that was not only engaging, funny. I wanted to, along the way, I want people to laugh, I want them to be engaged, and I want every time that I do a video that they're able to pull something away and saying, am I implementing that in what I'm currently doing? Mm-hmm. And it's also a great way for them to get to know me. And again, I think when people are choosing an agent, whether it's on the buy or sell side, they want to know that their agent has personality, that they're working with someone that they like. So they might X out and go, I don't want to work with him, or I like him, I like what he's about, I want to talk to him further. And that's sort of where the Coffee with CraigO came about.
So Craig, tell me, why did you get involved with Junkluggers and with Luggers Moving? What started that?
It was actually funny. I think I actually reached out to you a couple years ago, and we just had a quick conversation on the phone, and we realized just very quickly that we have a lot of the same process as far as thinking, and I realized that Junkluggers had for so many years been successful, and when you brought the idea of Luggers Moving and you wanting to start that, I remember coming into the city, sitting down with you and your team, and talking about...
Was that the first time we met?
That was the first time I met your team. I'm wondering.
I think the first time we met, I made you drink a full bottle of wine with me.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was right next to our office. We were originally going to go to Outback Steakhouse.
That's right. And we also met up with a fellow agent as well.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
And I said, damn, I should have had more coffee before I met this guy today.
And hence 2 years later, Coffee with CraigO.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah. And so I think, again, it goes to the branding point, but I think it's people getting to know you. I think with you and I, here was a platform or a stage that you had. And I said, there were a lot of things about being a small business owner that I was not able to successfully do over the years. And I can look back and go, okay, these are my shortcomings. Here are my strengths. So let me now, in my next phase of my life, in my next phase of my career, let me work and really build upon my strengths. And so once I did that, I said, my strengths are not was, networking, marketing, strategic, planning. So as far as implementing of new ideas, so when we talked about the 4-in-1 service providing, which is packing, moving, unpacking, and then of course removal of what people no longer want, that was the ability to be a one-stop shop, and that provided great value. And so I saw how Junkluggers, and exactly to your point, how it lent itself to the Luggers Moving model. That along the way you had that, I think there was some training that had to be involved, talking about how to wrap items, and again, at the same time, I think the one thing that you guys had in your culture, and it really translates itself very well, is that this bedside manner. Bedside manner is everything, because moving is such an emotional process.
It is.
And so as an agent, I'm still dealing with that because they're finding a new place to call home. And someone who's selling their home, this is years of memory. So it's not just a number on the marketplace. This is something that's so personal to them.
And we hear that all the time with the reviews we get from customers. It was such an emotional time for us. You guys made it so easy. It's a nice thing to be a part of, and it was nice to talk about that with you as someone who's had that experience.
Josh, thank you so much for taking out the time to sit down.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I want to apologize, though. I didn't bring Bella the buyer dog, because as we can see, we've got Otis. Otis is a great dog.
You can see he's very sad.
But, owner and operator of Junkluggers and Luggers Moving, Josh Cohen, thanks for taking out the
Thank
time
you.
to sit on the couch.
Thank you.
Your couch, by the way, might I add.